What's up, everybody, and welcome to Reviews for My Kids, the show where I recap, review, and reminisce on all of the things I've grown to love over the years to not only share with my kids, but with you as well. Kids, today we're diving into another episode of Doug. His worst nightmare comes true. He gets framed for a crime he didn't commit. A classic prank gone wrong. Let's get into it.
That's me.
Practical jokes, wrongful accusations, and a stolen trophy. Let's break down the episode of Doug Didn't Do It.
Dear Journal. Hi, it's me, Doug. You know what I hate? I hate practical jokes. Especially when I wind up on the wrong side of one.
We begin the episode at the school during the night where a mysterious hand grabs Mr. Bone's trophy sitting on top of the cabinet. The next day, the news about the stolen trophy is later spread all over the school, and to Doug's horror, the trophy is seen inside his locker. Doug realizes that he has been framed for robbery, and all the evidence was pointed at him as Roger mocks him, telling him that possessions is 9/10 of the law, regardless of whether the person was framed or actually committed the crime. Doug imagines he is on trial, and Mr. Bone tells the judge that the trophy was found in Doug's locker and declares him guilty. But Mr. Dink objects and tells the judge that it's the jury's decision on whether Doug is guilty or not. Roger is revealed to be the jury and declares Doug as guilty. His punishment is that he has to do 6 months of hard laboring at Lamar Bone's School of Yodeling. The judge also adds how this crime will taint Doug's permanent record. Mr. Bone later announces that the students should go to their lockers for a surprise inspection to catch the thief who stole his trophy, as well as sending the person to an eternity of detention. So Doug hides the trophy behind his shirt before Mr. Bone can search his locker. Luckily for Doug, the school bell rings and the students get back to their class. Back at home, when Doug asks Judy what to do with the trophy, Judy suggests begging for mercy, but Doug says the last guy who tried that is still in detention. So she suggests pleading insanity. But Doug states that Skunky Beaumont had to see the guidance counselor daily due to that. So Judy suggests telling the truth, to which Doug finally agrees to. Doug imagines that he's earned an Honorable Kid Award by Mayor White and everyone cheers for him. Mr. Bone also gives Doug the rest of the school year off and the people continue to cheer for him. The next day, Doug puts the trophy inside his bag in his locker and says that he will give it back to Mr. Bone after class. After Doug leaves, Roger writes an anonymous note to Mr. Bone, telling him to search locker number 47, which the assistant principal complies to. But Doug has already taken the trophy out of his locker to tell Mr. Bone the truth, only to realize that he will never believe him. Doug imagines that Mr. Bone is prancing around Doug, who is tied to a chair, telling him that he doesn't buy the telling the truth tactic one bit. Doug tries to convince Mr. Bone that he was framed, but the vice principal doesn't believe him. He shows Doug a comic book of Man O' Steel Man and later his permanent record, which he tears apart in confetti, stating that Doug was through, finished, and washed up. Doug then attempts to get rid of it by flushing it down the toilet of the restroom, but to no avail. He puts the trophy, which is in the bag with his name on it, back outside Mr. Bone's office. By the time Mr. Bone searches his locker, the trophy is gone, much to Roger's disappointment. When Doug finds Roger searching through his locker, it becomes clear to him that Roger was the one who planted the trophy in his locker to frame him. Later, Mr. Bone catches Doug in the act in the middle of the class due to discovering his name on the bag the trophy was in and demands Doug to report to his office. There, he gives Doug some towels to polish all 305 of his trophies. As he leaves to get more polish, Roger comes in and tells Doug not to tell on him. Doug promises, saying no one will believe him anyway. As Roger takes a seat in Mr. Bone's chair and sets his feet on the desk, accidentally turning on the speaker to the entire school. He brags about his conspiracy to steal the trophy from Mr. Bone's office, oblivious to the fact that his feet are on the PA intercom button. Doug does try to warn him, but Roger refuses to listen. He continues bragging about his heist over the loudspeakers. The entire school is listening, including Mr. Bone, who hears this and catches Roger in the act. Knowing the truth, Mr. Bone is enraged at nearly punishing an innocent student and makes Roger polish his trophies after school instead, and the final trophy to polish is his ponderous first-place trophy. The episode ends with Doug writing his latest event in his journal, writing that the only thing worse than being the butt of a practical joke is the person who actually did it. We see Roger back at the school still polishing the enormous trophy while Mr. Bone yodels to the music that won him the trophy, long into the night.
This episode was full of twists, turns, and classic Doug humor. The prank gone wrong, the mix of Doug's wild imagination, and Roger's ultimate downfall make this a memorable episode. I'm not sure why, but I always appreciated and enjoyed episodes that took place primarily in a school setting. Something about it reminded me of schools of old that didn't have many windows and kind of felt like a dungeon at times. This episode shows some wild imagination moments from Doug. When you're caught for something, especially if the wrongdoing wasn't your fault, your mind can be flooded with all sorts of scenarios, as we see with Doug's imagination. Seeing Doug go to Judy for help was an interesting touch, though, as we just saw them quarrel just a few episodes ago, and now we see Doug coming to her for advice. I give this episode 3 useless trophies. It's a fun look at how to handle scenarios which are out of your control, and at the end of the day, the moral of the story is to just come clean in your involvement to just clear the air. Kids, looking back, there were plenty of moments in my life when I was involved in tricky situations and blamed for things just by being tied to those who were causing some mischief. Ultimately, over time, I realized to avoid those who were being mischievous because I myself didn't want to get a bad rap for being something that I wasn't. The biggest takeaway from this episode is to just not allow things to build up into something that they aren't. Watching this episode as an adult gives you the perspective to just call something out when it isn't the truth. It's a little harder to do, though, when you're a kid for some reason. Perhaps because, trying to explain yourself as a kid is completely different than trying to explain yourself as an adult. So it's just a little harder to convey your message and get your truth out. In today's world, truth and facts have somewhat kind of gone awry due to various sources of information, but the biggest lesson I can give you kids is to just tell the truth as best you can whenever you can, and to know you can always come to your mother or myself when needing to express yourself and explain yourself. Always. Thanks again for tuning in to another episode of Reviews for My Kids, the show where I recap, review, and reminisce on all of the things I've grown to love over the years to not only share with my kids, but with you as well. Tune in next time. Bye!